the other hat that's being thrown into this ring is now Sony, which which nobody had any faith in after The Amazing Spider-Man 2, with good reason. They've just made all the money with Venom. We were talking earlier about how neither of us can believe how much money Venom's made. It's about $850 right now. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah. And what was, do you know, top of your head production budget on that? What do you think? Maybe 200?
Oh, not even. It was somewhere in the neighborhood of like 80 to 100, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
So yeah, like, and speaking of, because I mean, like the first 3 Spider-Man movies, like the Sam Raimi series, those were making like upwards of 700-800 million. But they cost more to make too.
Right.
Like, so in terms of how much it costs to make this movie versus how much it's made, it's the profit margin is insane. Like the profit ratio is insane. It just makes it even crazier. Not only that, Into the Spider-Verse, which just recently came out. Now, you've not gotten a chance to see that yet.
I have not.
I did get to go see it. Like our buddy Aaron, he saw it. He did a review of it, said great things about it, and he's right, because this movie is incredible. And that made $35 million in its opening weekend. And it's probably going to make more just by word of mouth. We can talk about animations and how they do at the box office whenever they're not specifically for kids animations. Right. But that's a whole nother conversation. But the fact is like Venom made all the money. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is a creative accomplishment. Now Sony's got to be taken seriously in the world of superheroes and movies.
Sure. Them going out and making this big ensemble animation movie, and, you know, not necessarily that the numbers need to support it, but from the fans, I think them staying true to or homaging the canon of, you know, the different aspects of Spider-Man. When you bring in Scott Shaw's 1984 creation of like Spider-Ham and have you know, a Peter Porker reference in it, and like that is the right way to tip your hat to the guys that have gone and grinded these characters out for years.
Oh, I said it before, I'll say it again. I really think you're going to enjoy this movie whenever you get around to being able to see it. Wait, you're waiting for Christmas break to take your kids, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I'm sure they'll love it too. Also, how long till we get a Spider-Gwen movie? We know it's going to happen. I want to see it. But seriously, like this, it's up there with like in terms of creativity and in terms of just genuine goodness. It's up there with the first 2 Spider-Man movies, as far as I'm concerned. And this officially makes Sony like, okay, well, now we're taking you seriously again. Like even though like I don't think Venom was a very good movie, it wasn't Fantastic Four, Josh Trank bad by any means. It just wasn't particularly good. It was okay. It was all right. It was fun enough. But they've now shown that they can make money using these characters, and they don't need Spider-Man to do it.
Right. And I think they should be able to run with that on either the big screen or the small screen or the streaming screen, and carry that momentum. You know, not that voice actors are necessarily easier to come by, but you don't have to have Tom Hardy's face to play, you know, Miles Morales. You can cast that guy correctly and, you know, make him work for the next 20 years.
As long as he can still make the voice.
Exactly. And so I would like them to, you know, turn their sights towards doing that, because
it should be said that one of the guys behind the Lego movie is one of the producers on this movie, and I think that's definitely had a lot to do with it. Just like those guys hit home runs pretty much every time.
True story. And kind of come and on so many platforms. I don't know how much Lego has in control, or if they just designed such a team, but just kind of touch base on their video game platforms. Their ability to build stories within the story and still have playability, I think, is a reflection of that same kind of mentality.
Yeah. Like Sony as a company, like, I mean, there was the data breach a few years back, but aside from that, Sony as a company is, you know, definitely a competent company. But there was reason to question like the movie division, just in terms of just some of the stuff that it had made. Like for instance, just for comparison, the same like Sony made Into the Spider-Verse, they also made the Emoji Movie.
Well, are you still gaining the same demographic out there, and how much are you putting into it?
Well, I mean, I don't know like what their ultimate game plan is. I'm just happy to see that the quality is there with Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And based on, I believe, Amy Pascal, she recently she implied that the intention is for Spider-Man to stay in the MCU for the foreseeable future.
Right.
Which means probably more movies, like past the deal that they have right now. I believe that they get a Spider-Man trilogy plus his appearances in the Avengers movies. So, I mean, like, that's great news for all the Spider-Man MCU fans. I am definitely one of those people.
Let's backtrack for just 1 second on, something that you said, and I was kind of mulling over as well, is what are they trying to achieve, and what is the end game when it comes to a character like Venom? Now, the bigwig sitting in the office and counting the money guy says, "Oh, well, shit, we just made $850 million. That's great."
Yeah, so we're getting more of those.
Right. Well, you would think, but does Tom Hardy really want to continue to play this character? Like, not that he's. Well, he is. He is way more accomplished than I think, with the exception of Robert Downey Jr., than anybody in the Marvel universe.
Oh yeah.
So does he want to do?
Well, Brie Larson, Captain Marvel. She's an Oscar winner.
Yeah, and that's true. But I just don't feel like she has the portfolio that even Hardy has.
That's true.
I think we've seen plenty of actors and actresses that have had one performance that has won them an Oscar, and then they've fallen off the face of the earth. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's great that Adrian Brody was in The Piano, but he was also in Predators, and that was garbage.
Yes, it was.
You know what I mean? So
there hasn't been a good Predator movie since Predator 2, and only that one was technically good.
And I don't know if there's been a good Adrian Brody movie.
Really not good, but I love it. But this is true. That's probably the most relevant point that you can make in terms of the future of Venom. I'm sure that he'd come back for a sequel, but we'll see about being a part of a universe. But that is Sony's end game. Sony looks over at Marvel and they see this big cinematic universe that they have going on, and they say, "I want one of those too."
Right.
And they're trying to do this without Spider-Man. And if Venom is any indication, it might have just been because Tom Hardy was in it.
It seems like one shot, one kill. There's not enough there to continue the development of Venom. And that because the actor's quality is a higher caliber.
Yes. And he's one of the better actors out there today, like easily.
Right. And I mean, people are getting nervous already. There's articles that have been published. Is the comic book or big time comic book Marvel DC universe bubble going to pop? And when is that going to end?
Well, based on the views that the Avengers Endgame trailer got, I don't think that we're close to it yet. I mean, I believe that the Infinity War trailer held the record for most views in a 24-hour time span, and then Endgame broke that record.
I can completely believe that.